So Clarke thinks that she should put my head in a bag because I'm too loud and echoey.
Or a cone. I'm open to either. His voice is too loud, so it echoes in the space. But if we get him, a cone.
Or we do have proper microphones coming in, so we might be retiring.
Wow, nice
Softbrain.
segue.
Nice segue,
Yeah,
huh?
the Softbrains are getting an upgrade.
Brought to you by our own wallets.
Brought to you by no one. Because
if you would like to sponsor us, do let us know. We don't have many listeners, but that's okay. We have a good time.
Please sponsor us for having a good time.
Look at my subject.
I didn't look at your subject.
I'm excited for today. How about you?
Good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you guys know out there, we don't know what these topics or stories are before we talk about them.
I guess that's something that we never mentioned. We don't discuss it beforehand, so we're kind of learning about it on the way.
Because it's nice to have a genuine reaction, I think.
Yeah, we want to be like you. So you came prepared? You ready for today?
I'm always ready.
I think I can...
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to go first today.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's your turn, right?
We try to take turns. We're nice people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So, do you know much about Liza Minnelli?
Whoa, this took... Okay,
it's
interesting
not something, especially nobody really knows me very well, but this is definitely not a subject I would talk about. Mushrooms on one hand, yes.
Yeah, this is a little off color for you.
Yeah, not definitely up my alley normally, but I had a really good time looking into it. It was a really interesting subject.
I know a little bit.
You know a little bit
about her.
Do you know how crazy her life is?
A little bit. I've heard a little bit about her history because I'm a musical theater geek. So
toot. We need the horn. Toot your own horn.
I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm making fun of myself.
Okay, that's fair too.
Making fun of myself for being a loser.
Right.
All the musical theater fans out there are like, huh? How dare you?
True.
I'm going to go see Mamma Mia 2 for the second time.
Did I tell you that was... I think that one was produced by Tom Hanks.
Really?
Yeah.
Those movies make a lot
I don't
of money.
know if it was the first one or the second one, but I know he did one of them, and I feel like it was the second one because I heard it recently, so obviously it must be the second one, right?
Like, they know their target audience.
Oh, for sure. Single white female.
Yeah, they
100%.
fucking use it. Well, middle-aged, too. Just
Right.
middle-aged
From
women.
the age of 21 to 803, it is suitable for the white female.
So, virtually
Virtually
all
everyone.
adult.
Yeah.
To 800?
Yeah, about that.
What female do you know that's 800?
And they're out there. Mamma Mia, am I right?
On what planet?
So Liza Minnelli. Do you know how old she is?
That got on a weird tangent.
It got real weird real quick.
Welcome to the Softbrains.
Yeah, welcome to the Softbrains. So Liza May Minnelli is her birth name. She was born way back March 12th, 1946. Long time ago, like just after World War II. That's amazing.
She's old.
Her mother, who is
Dorothy.
Judy Garland.
That's what I said.
Actress, singer, dancer, America's sweetheart. And her father was Vincente Minnelli. He was an Italian guy. That's Vincente.
Vincente?
Yeah. Or Vincente, I don't know.
Vincente
Some people pronounce that
Minnelli.
C, right? That's a thing?
Sure.
He's a director of stage and film. His Best Picture awards for An American in Paris and Gigi, which he also won the Best Director for.
Big names.
Big names, right? She was born and raised in Hollywood for the first few years of her life. And she was actually named after an Ira Gershwin song called Liza, All the Clouds Will Roll Away.
No wonder she was so, fucked up.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
She was born right into it.
She was born, that's the thing, right? She was born into crazy. And growing up as a kid in Hollywood in fame, that's not a recipe for a good cake.
What kind of cake is it?
I don't know. I really like a good Black Forest cake.
I love
Or one of
carrots.
those fruit cakes with those brown nut sugar things around the outside.
Fruit cake? What's
Not
wrong
fruit
with
cake,
you?
like the ones with the strawberries, kiwis, and peaches on top.
Ugh.
Oh, those ones are so
What,
good.
is it cake?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of cake.
I'll show
to
you
begin
it
with.
sometime. Liza was in her first film. Man, we need to stay on subject here. Liza was in her first film when she was 3 with her mom, Judy. She was in the final scene of a musical in the good old summertime.
Oh, the good old summertime.
Yeah, things were weird back in the 40s and 50s, man.
That's why everybody talked back in the 40s.
Yeah, they all talked like old-timey. Yeah, that's exactly what they talked like. If you didn't talk like that, you're a liar. 2 types of people that pee in the shower. Those that do and those that lie about they do. You know what I mean?
That was almost a sentence.
That was almost a sentence.
Those that lie about they do.
About not peeing in the shower. That's what I meant to say.
They don't think it be like it is, but
they
do.
So Liza acted in the film and stage a lot when she grew up. We're on a first name basis. I'm not going to call her Miss Minnelli.
Okay, you respect her.
Yeah, you show her respect. Well, she's a pretty famous woman.
I
right?
know.
At 17, and this is in 1963, she began performing professionally. Oh, I forgot to say, her parents were married for 6 years, divorced in 1951.
I knew they were divorced.
6 years. So, she was in an off-Broadway musical called Best Foot Forward and won the Theatre World Award for that at 17.
Wow. Theatre World Award?
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Some acting award for theatre in the world.
Okay,
And
then.
it's an award.
Okay.
At 19, she went to Broadway and was the leading actress in Flora the Red Menace. It was a creation by John Kander and Fred Ebb. They'd go on to write and produce a bunch of her stuff in the future. As well as her stage acts, too. I don't know if you knew, but she sang. Yeah, everybody knows.
I was aware.
Yeah. So, her role in Flora, at the age of 19, she won her first big award. She won her Tony for the world. One of her Tonys, and I feel like she has a few. She actually won a Tony for her role in Florida at 19. So
And
she's
the
pretty young.
Theatre World Award?
Yeah,
So
that was
cool.
at 17 she won that award.
Oh, I see. This is the second mounting
Right.
of it, or whatever they say.
Yeah. So she got married to an entertainer named Peter Allen in March of 1967. He was Judy Garland's protege in the mid-60s.
What?
Yeah. Weird, huh?
That is weird.
Yeah, so he was under the tutelage of Liza's mom
And then she married him?
in the mid-60s.
Okay.
Yes.
But what does that mean?
But they were old. They were already in their 19s. 19s. They're late teens to early 20s.
Okay.
So she was like a friend of the family, I guess is a good way to put it. Right?
Sure.
But kind of also worked for her mom, so it's a little bit weird.
Yes.
So she continued to act on screen and singing in nightclubs. She rose to stardom through a bunch of different roles, released a ton of records. One of her movies was the critically acclaimed performance in the Sterile Cuckoo in 1969.
Sterile Cuckoo? That's
Sterile
me.
Cuckoo. That's you? That's kind of weird. I hope not. Like her mom, by this time she was also an icon for the gay community by about her early 20s.
Yes, the gays love Liza.
They love Liza and they love Judy Garland.
Judy.
Yeah.
That's the voice.
It is, yes. While climbing to fame, she watched her mom, Judy, feel the pressure from Hollywood, right? Judy was she was a child star as well.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? But she was always told by executives and stuff that she was physically unattractive, that she was ugly.
Yeah.
She actually had really bad alcohol and substance abuse problems.
Well, can you imagine how fucked up you would be? She's Dorothy's daughter, and Dorothy was
You were the only famous person in the world at that time. You know what I mean?
But everybody knows Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Everybody knows.
Especially back then, right?
Yeah, especially in this time.
When there's 8 movies that came out, the one that came out with Judy
Which
Garland.
movie do you want to watch, honey? Well, I don't know. We've watched each of them 53 times.
Yeah. But apparently that's not true. Apparently there actually was a lot of movies back then, but that's another story, another subject for another day.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Judy had a ton of problems. She owed thousands of dollars in back taxes as well. Just in general, led a very troubled life. At the age of 47, when Liza was 23, Judy Garland died of an overdose of barbiturates, specifically Seconal capsules is what they were called.
Barbiturates? What is that?
Yeah, so a Seconal is used in the treatment of epilepsy, temporary treatment of insomnia, and used in pre-op stuff for mildly painful procedures.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, it is, like today, the most prescribed drug for physician-assisted suicide in the U.S.
What?
Weird, eh?
For physician-assisted suicide? To kill yourself?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a very easy thing to overdose on.
Holy, I guess so.
That's specifically the 3 states that are the worst for it are Oregon, Washington, and Vermont. It is also used for the euthanasia of horses and cattle.
Wow.
So when you need to put down a big animal, grab your Seconal capsules, I guess.
Okay.
That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if people still use it for like epilepsy and stuff. I'm guessing obviously.
Like, what does it do to you that it makes you so?
Good question.
I don't know.
If anybody's a doctor, do we got a doctor in the house?
You got a
Please tell us about barbiturates and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look too much into it. The death of her mom obviously hit Liza pretty hard because she was only 23 at the time. Her mom was 47. It's an accidental death.
Yeah.
It was an accidental overdose. It was shown that they took the medication over a period of time because there was different states of it being absorbed into her body. It wasn't just a single dose. So it was purely accidental. It wasn't intentional. The death of her was terrible. After that, she got quite depressed and was prescribed Valium. She actually ended up getting addicted to Valium along with other prescription medications and other drugs. Like her mom, she also suffered a long time from alcoholism, too.
Mm-hmm.
Just all in all, this family, not really doing too great.
Well, yeah. Well, even
fame, right?
Judy Garland was, when she was a child star, and she was treated like shit on the set of Wizard of Oz. Have you ever read about what happened on the set of Wizard of Oz?
I know.
So no kidding. Like she's a product of her environment.
100%. And it's both of her parents too, right? And she divorced from a young age, so split famous family where she's got to go back and forth. In 1972, Liza starred in the Bob Fosse. It was the film called
Cabaret.
That is correct. You're good. 2 for 2. Batting 100.
Cabaret.
This brought her larger
I forget
than
how
life.
the songs go, but I assume there's
I've
one
never
like that
seen
in
it.
there. I saw it at Manitoba Theatre Company.
Yeah? Was it good?
A couple of years ago with my grandma. Really good. It's a really good show. It's really interesting. It's kind of
watch it. Is there a movie? Oh, yeah, obviously there is.
Liza Minnelli was in it.
Wow. Who's she? Can you tell me a little bit about her?
Well, okay. Continue.
So yeah, this brought her larger than life. Amongst her other awards that she's already winning, she won the Oscar. Best Actress.
Yes, she did.
This was in the same year that later on in the year after Cabaret came out, she's obviously shot to superstardom. And they wanted to make a TV special with her called Liza with a Z or with a Z.
Wait, her name wasn't always spelt with a Z?
Yeah, it always was.
Oh.
But that's the name of the
special.
special.
Oh, the special was Liza with a Z.
Yes,
I see.
That's what it was called.
I thought you were saying that she was going to change her name for
No.
the TV show. I was confused.
Now she's just known as Liza.
That's right.
She won her Emmy in that same year. So she won an Oscar and her Emmy.
I didn't know she had an Emmy.
She did. So back to Peter Allen, though, the guy that she married.
Okay.
The two of them stayed together for 7 years, and they ended up divorcing in 1974 because, as it turns out, Peter Allen was gay.
Oh.
Who knew? Right? Apparently, the entire world knew.
I think I've heard that before.
Like, literally everybody that was around them, all their close friends, everybody knew that he was gay. Like, it was the talk of the town. Everyone but Liza knew. So who knows if she was just partying too hard? She liked to party, so.
That says something about their relationship, clearly.
Oh, for sure. Doesn't stop there, though.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're only in the 70s.
We're only in the 70s, and we're only on husband number 1. She's been married a couple times. There was also the small tidbit of Peter Allen. Again, this is the guy that was under the tutelage of Judy Garland. A small little thing, having an affair with Liza's stepfather, Mark Herron.
What?
So Judy Garland's, I'm guessing, husband, Mark Herron. He was also caught sleeping with another man on their wedding day. So
the Peter guy?
Yeah, her husband.
Nice.
Not enough red flags for you, Liza. Like,
she knew about this?
Yeah, she caught him.
Oh.
When he was cheating on her on their wedding day.
Maybe Maybe she was just like, nah, whatever.
Whatever. Things were different back in the
She was
70s.
like, I'm on tour, bitch. I'm famous.
Oh yeah, she was pretty young and famous, right?
Maybe it was just for appearances.
Yeah. Well,
Tom Cruise marriage.
Like Katie Holmes. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes?
Yeah.
That's a weird one, right?
Like, probably, paid her.
Yeah, that's something
Paid her
like
to be
that.
married
Or
to
had
her.
her kidnapped and a gag order on her. Who knows?
Could be
Poor
anything.
little innocent Katie Holmes back in Dawson's Creek. What happened?
Tom
Cruise happened.
Yikes.
Good stunt actor, though, right? Yeah, but the strangeness doesn't really end with her gay husband.
Yes.
Liza's grandfather, Judy Garland's dad, was Frank Gaume, was his name. He made passes at multiple men at the movie theater that he owned. So this is early 1900s. This definitely isn't a...
Isn't this the 70s?
No, this was when he was younger.
Oh, when he was young.
It's her grandfather, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know that now or in the past.
Well, Judy Garland's husband, Vincente Minnelli, lived as an openly gay man when he lived in New York City after they got divorced, but became closeted after he moved to Hollywood and was most likely in reality bi, obviously. However, Judy allegedly only became aware of his sexual orientation after they were married, somehow. When she did find out, Judy Garland reportedly tried to kill herself after she discovered Vincente in a bed with a man.
What? This is really strange. Why do they keep marrying gay people?
Like, icons for the gays, I guess.
But, like...
Right? But very weird, right? I didn't know that. So it ran in her family a little bit.
If the guy was bisexual, then whatever. What does
Yeah,
that
but
matter?
he also she caught him in bed with a man.
Yeah, I guess
she
he
didn't
cheated.
know.
The cheating
That whole thing. So a lot of similarities kind of in their lives as well are kind of found between Judy and Liza. From their own demons that they have and who they surround themselves with. After her split with Peter, later that year, same year, so this is in 1974, she married Jack Haley Jr. Jack Haley Jr.'s dad, that's what the junior means, co-starred with Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz.
Wait, who was he?
Good question. You'd have to look it
The
up.
Tin Man?
Maybe.
The Scarecrow?
Maybe he's just not really anybody that's
Was
known
he
very
the
well.
Wizard?
So she
married him?
not even a year later after divorcing her first gay husband, Jack Haley.
He played the Tin Man.
Okay. So the Tin Boy, Jack Haley Jr.
He also did stuff with Shirley Temple.
So yeah, well, like I said, there probably wasn't many big blockbusters back then, so
Yeah.
get your work while you can.
8 movies.
So yeah, he was the son of her co-star. So kind of living on her mom's coattails, right?
Do you love me now, Mama?
Through the 70s, Liza continued her larger-than-life persona and career. She starred in a ton more TV shows and movies. I'm not going to get into them all. It's impossible to name them all. She was super popular.
You're not going to list her whole IMDb page?
No. I did peruse through it. There's quite a bit of titles. She was a party girl, though. She liked to play fast and loose with drugs. She went to a lot of adult parties, quote unquote. That's our dog shaking. Sorry about that. She's also a soft brain.
Yes.
Yeah, so she did a ton of drugs. Andy Warhol, you know that guy?
Yes.
He wrote in his 1978 diary entry that he recalled Liza Minnelli arriving at Halston's house. Do you know who Halston is?
No.
He's like an old American fashion designer.
Okay.
Halston, like Cher, Bono, one name.
Okay.
Halston.
Got it.
I didn't hear of him either. And she implored him to give me every drug you've got. So
she asked what Andy Warhol?
she asked this Halston.
Oh, the Halston guy.
Yeah. Andy Warhol just happened to be there.
Oh, okay.
Parties in the 70s, right?
I guess so.
So it was whatever she could get, she got her hands on and she enjoyed it. Her marriage to Tin Boy.
Tin Man.
The Tin Boy, it's his son.
Oh.
It's not the Tin Man.
I got it.
It's the Tin Boy. It didn't last that long at all. They divorced in April of 1979, which, if you do the math, is 8 months later.
Wow. That's just as long as like Kim Kardashian and her husband.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. Sorry, no. Hold on here. It was 2 years. Sorry.
Oh. Okay.
8 months later, though, she married her next husband.
Oh.
So she's very short marriages, short distance between.
Marriage means nothing to her.
Marriage means nothing in the land of Hollywood.
There's no sanctity anymore.
No sanctity in marriage. Back in the 70s. Sorry, I just needed a drink. You staying hydrated?
Mm-hmm.
It's hot out there.
Are you staying hydrated out there in dreamland?
Yeah, make sure you guys drink enough water. You know, water's just such an important... Today, we are sponsored by water. Water. Nature's soft drink. So she married Mark Gero, or Gero is his name. This is husband number 3. He was a sculptor and a stage manager.
Okay.
So she this is her lifestyle. She marries kind of famous people.
Kind of artsy gay guys.
Artsy gay guys. Exactly. She was a pretty busy woman. And a pretty lady. She was very beautiful when she was young. Back in the 60s and 70s, she was busy. 80s were a bit of the same. She continued acting and singing, but also continued with drugs. In 1984, she was in a musical called The Rink, and she actually had to leave it kind of in production when they were filming and stuff.
The Rink?
The Rink.
Like the hockey rink?
It's called The Rink.
Let's go down to the rink,
Let's go down to the rink, you hosers. She pulled out of the musical and entered rehab at the Betty Ford Clinic. Her first stint in rehab.
That was her first time?
Yes.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Man, took her a bit.
Took her a while. She was busy partying. She didn't have the time.
I don't have time. I'm too busy being on drugs.
Don't got time for rehab. But if you do need rehab, please go.
This episode sponsored by Rehab.
Rehab. Nature's soft drink.
What?
In the 1980s, she was a little quieter in the Hollywood circuit. She wasn't doing as many movies. She was kind of on the downhill trend a little bit.
Yeah, she's falling out of the public eye.
A little bit. She was collaborating with the Pet Shop Boys, though.
Oh.
She did some work with them.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. She also did some touring, though, with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. But for the most part,
girl.
Yeah, she had lots of famous people in her life.
Yeah,
obviously.
she was on Arrested Development. Are you going to get there?
She was in Arrested Development later on. I didn't talk about it.
Yeah, she
didn't really add it in.
Did she play herself in Arrested
I
Development?
think she did, yes.
She was great in that show.
You don't even know if she played herself, but she was great.
Because I remember her being funny.
Oh, I do remember her in that, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I do recall that now.
She spent a lot of time with Buster.
It just turned, it was like an instant snap and replayed in my mind.
The
like
soft
a
brain
flashback.
went.
Yeah, my soft brain hardened up for a mere second.
A
And we're back.
0.2 of a second.
So yeah, after her touring and stuff in the 90s, 1990, she performed Losing My Mind at the Grammy ceremony. And at this Grammy ceremony, what happened? Dun, 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 she won her Grammy.
Look at that.
So she won the Grammy Legend Award. It was the first time they gave it out, I believe. Andrew Lloyd Webber, Smokey Robinson, and Willie Nelson also got it that year.
Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Yeah. If you've been keeping track and playing the game at home, that means that Liza now has the ultra rare EGOT, or the EGOT, as Tracy Morgan would say. An Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony. So she's won all 4. She's one of only 16 people in the world to have achieved the status. So she shares it with like Barbra Streisand, Whoopi Goldberg, Audrey Hepburn, Mel Brooks. It's pretty big names.
What's Mel Brooks doing in there?
Mel Brooks was in everything, right?
That's true. Mel Brooks. He did a lot of producing, though.
He did a lot of producing, but you can still win an Oscar for that.
Oh, that's true. I guess you can. I wasn't considering like the other categories.
He did a ton of voiceover work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he did musicals,
the producers.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Be a producer.
We should rewatch that movie. That movie's
so good.
I really like that's. I think one of my favorite musicals.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and it's very weird to see Will Ferrell dressed as like a Nazi.
And all of his messenger birds that are also Nazis.
Nazi messenger pigeons.
The pigeons Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to rewatch that. Maybe it's on Friday.
It's a great movie.
So she did. I'm sorry, the whole Tracy Morgan thing. Do you not remember that?
Yes, I do. That's why I thought it was funny.
Yeah, in 30 Rock.
Yes,
when he was talking
I remember.
About his EGOT.
He wants an
I want
EGOT.
to win my EGOT. That's a terrible Tracy Morgan impression, but
Well, you tried.
I tried that, and that's what matters, right? So
It's
in
not that
91,
bad.
it's not. It could be worse. I have much worse impressions than that.
Don't worry.
You'll find out. In 1991 and 1992, she performed at Radio City Music Hall, and this was amongst performing at other huge venues as well. She got a ton of critical acclaim for it, and the performances were touted as two of her most successful ever.
Touted?
Yeah. People were calling it, hey, Liza Minnelli's back. She's the best.
I've never heard that verb before.
Touted?
Touted? How do you spell it?
Touted.
I'm not sure I've ever heard that before.
I think you have. Your brain's just soft.
Perhaps.
She was riding high again, but also riding high again. She ended up divorcing Mark Jarrow.
Wait, did you plan out that joke?
I actually didn't plan out that joke whatsoever.
I thought that would have been one that you would have written down.
No, it wasn't one. She divorced her hubby, Mark Jarrow, in 1992. So that one lasted a little bit longer, 78 to 92. So what's 14 years? Made it to be a teenager, that one.
Wow.
Good job.
Almost time to get your license, marriage.
Yeah, to Mark Jarrow. The 90s didn't treat Liza well at all, other than releasing one other jazz album, and she returned back to Broadway as well in 1997. Do you know who she replaced? It was in Victor and Victoria. Trivia question for everybody listening.
Victoria.
No, I mean the actress she replaced.
I
Judy
don't know.
Garland.
What?
No, sorry, not Judy.
She came back from the dead?
Back from the dead in Victor and Victoria.
Wow, I don't know how she would have followed that act.
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews is different than Judy Garland.
Yes.
Julie Andrews.
Yeah, that was the last. the person
Wow,
that she
musical theater queen. Hail Julie Andrews.
Yeah, but Liza was completely out of control, and she bounced in and out of rehab 5 times between 92 and 2002. So the 90s really weren't good. She was getting older, obviously, and kind of out, really at the end of her twinkling neutron star. She's collapsing in on herself. Her spotlight was fading. So was her relevancy in heyday.
Her virtual planetoid.
Her virtual... Hebe! It's virtually a planetoid.
It's a virtual planetoid, is what he says.
In 2000, she almost died. She contracted viral encephalitis.
Ah, I think I knew about this.
Yeah, and so that's basically inflammation of the brain. Insane in the membrane. Inflamed in the brain.
Jesus Christ, Justin.
Too soon, sorry. Doctors predicted that she would actually spend the rest of her life wheelchair bound and may never speak again. It caused headaches, fever, fatigue. Some severe cases you can just spontaneously pass out, lose consciousness.
Okay.
She ended up making a full recovery, obviously, but she did a ton of stuff during the day. Like every single day, she was doing dancing and taking dance lessons to fully recover, like as physiotherapy kind of thing.
Interesting.
And then she made a grand return to the stage when her buddy, good friend actually, they were like really good friends, Michael Jackson. He asked her to perform at Madison Square Garden for his 30th anniversary special concert.
I've heard that before, that they were friends.
Yeah, they were really close. This concert was produced by a guy named David Geist, or Geist. It's G-E-S-T. I'm going to say Geist. I think it's Geist because there was a joke about her being a poltergeist for some reason when I was doing my research, but whatever.
Okay.
So at this time, she started gaining a ton of weight, and she ended up getting to about 240 pounds. In 2002, David Geist was thinking, geez, this lady is the best. She's got great stamina and great crowd control. She really knows what she's doing. So he decided to produce her in Liza's Back, which was her live album. So she sang a bunch of her hits, some not so hits, and she finally gave in to her fans' pleas and sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which her mom sang. Before that, she never sang it for anybody kind of thing.
She needed that coin.
Yeah, I guess
I no longer have any values.
Yeah, so she was, again, riding on her mother's coattails.
Poor
right?
Liza.
That was her mother's signature song.
Yes, I'm aware.
So lo and behold, though, David Geist and Liza, they got married.
Wow, surprise. Her favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Is he gay? Because then it's her favorite thing to do.
Michael Jackson was David's best man.
Oh.
Elizabeth Taylor was the matron of honor for Liza.
Mm-hmm.
In a disgusting decision, their first kiss was a horror show, and David tried to suck out Liza's soul out of her body like a dementor. Sorry about that. So we're gonna do this.
Edit that out.
We're gonna leave that in there. That was really interesting. It was only 1 second of a techno beat. I'll post this on our Instagram and stuff so you guys can take a look. But it's Liza Minnelli's and David Geist's wedding kiss. Again, Michael Jackson is their best man. So they're saying, I do, and then they mac really disgustingly for way too long of a period of time.
What? Have they ever kissed before?
I know. It does not look so great.
Like, not just each other at all in their whole lives?
It was gross. I'm pretty sure he was looking for, Coke in the back of her teeth. It was disgusting. We'll post that so you guys can see it.
Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Hit us up on hashtag...
The Softbrains.
At the Softbrains. That's the one.
Wow. Justin's still learning how the
I'm an old man. So, unfortunately, Liza's strengths came out and the marriage only lasted 16 months, sorry. You gotta give credit, not 6 months, 16 months.
Yeah.
So they separated in 2003, divorcing later in 2007. It was kind of a long, drawn-out, ugly divorce. A bunch of shady shit, though, came to light. During the separation proceedings, David sued Liza for $10 million. He was claiming that he was physically abused by Liza on multiple occasions. He was, from this abuse, physical attacks from Liza. He had vertigo, nausea, hypertension, scalp tenderness.
I wonder if this was, orchestrated.
Very well could have been. This might have been, you're right.
I'm thinking Liza wasn't exactly the smartest person to begin with. No offense, Liza. But then this guy, David, who knows her, knows how she acts, know that she's volatile, know that she likes to marry and divorce people, swoops in and is like, I'm going to sue her when this is done.
Right.
Because I know she's crazy.
Right. Maybe, but...
Conspiracy theory. Dun, dun, dun.
So he had a ton of things. Insomnia, photosensitivity, aphonophobia, which is the fear of voices.
What?
Yeah, so apparently she hit her hit him quite good. He also said that Liza made him anorexic and gave him herpes, which it turns out he did not have. But he did do that for a reason. He states that he did all of this because it was during alcohol-infused rages and stuff, and from drugs. The proceedings documents had hundreds of pages of accusations against Liza. He stated that he eventually had to get on to a whole cocktail of different drugs to deal with the symptoms that he was having and all the pain that he was going through. He claims that he caught her drinking vodka and said that he wanted to bring her into rehab and that she began to beat him about the head and face with her fists without relenting, is the quote. So, kind of, attacked him. She initially denied hitting him, and later on she changed her mind, saying she only hit him with good reason. So nothing like copping to domestic violence.
I only hit him if he deserved it.
Nothing was done about it really either, right? But the whole herpes thing, it was a ploy from David's lawyers in an attempt to invalidate their prenup. They had signed the agreements before they got married, which would allow him part of Liza's fortune, which was then valued at $60 million. So she still had a decent amount of money. Although he publicly denied it, though, many people around David said that, I lied to you, he was gay. Side note for him, though.
Of course he was. I'm telling you, this was orchestrated.
But he was also gay. He ended up dying just as a side note, he ended up dying at 62 from a stroke. He was in debt due to being addicted to gambling to the tune of over £500,000.
That's because he gambled on his marriage with Liza first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what started it all.
So from that, I'll spoil it. Liza has not been remarried since her divorce from David, so she has stopped at 4.
Wow.
2 out of 4 being gay. So
that's not great.
Not
Liza.
great.
Not great stats.
Gaydar is pretty low.
Yeah.
Though through her life, she's had 3 different miscarriages with none of the children surviving. One of them caused her permanent damage. She basically almost brought the baby to full term. And she can't eat prior to performing because of the miscarriage, because she had a hiatal hernia. It's when the upper portion of your stomach goes out of your chest cavity through. There's like a slit in your diaphragm where your esophagus comes through, and her upper part of her stomach went through that.
What?
And
Ew.
while she was trying to do the forced birth, she was turned upside down in an attempt to save the baby. Because for whatever reason, I don't know if that's going to work. It's going to crawl out like the Grudge.
What? It's not working. Turn her upside down. I don't know.
She got the hernia that way because she was upside down, and the baby did not survive.
Ugh, that's so terrible. I feel so bad for her.
She's had a really tough life. She will not say with what partners this happened with. Any of them. Nobody really knows. In 2018, the Me Too movement also brought to light another unsavory tidbit about Liza. After her divorce from David, she was sued from her former chauffeur, Mohammed Soumaya, what was his name? He worked with her for 10 years, so long-term employee.
Yeah.
He claimed that he was violent and she was violent and sexually abused him, and that she threatened to fire him if he did not sleep with her. Reluctantly, he did to save his job because he needed his job. Liza countersued, claiming defamation, but they ended up settling out of court in 2009. And the agreement was confidential, so nobody knows who paid who or what was, right?
Yeah. If they settle out of court, that means there's probably something sketchy on both sides.
Exactly. Because I'm pretty sure it's like a non-disclosure at that point. You don't really tell anybody, right?
Yeah, probably. Well, they would probably have asked for that.
Oh, for
like
sure.
Liza's side would have asked for that.
Or the other side.
Well,
probably either.
Maybe.
All in all, Liza Minnelli, she got her EGOT. She released 11 studio albums, acted in 21 different shows and movies, played herself in 24 features, and performed in 20 stage productions. She's currently 72, has taken a bit of a back seat, was kind of withdrawn from public eye as of late. One of her confidants and musical collaborators, Michael Feinstein, he confirms that she is in good health. It's not like she's sick or avoiding anybody. She's apparently sober as well.
She's just old.
She's old. She's in her 70s. You're right. And she's...
Get the hell off my porch, you Dorothy fans.
Exactly. She probably still gets bugged and stuff, right?
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, apparently she is sober. So, great thing for her.
Way to go.
And actually, one of your favorite curly-haired actor, singer people.
Singer people, not Henry Cavill. Darren Criss.
Darren Criss.
My boyfriend.
Her boyfriend. No.
Can you imagine Darren Criss and Liza Minnelli?
Darren's actually a really big fan of Liza Minnelli. The two hang out all the time.
Really?
Yeah, they're like good pals.
Aw, Darren.
Yeah, she lives in LA. She's kind of winding down, trying to have the good life.
Harry freaking Potter.
Yeah. So
Liza freaking Minnelli.
Kind of weird everything that went on in her life and all the connections with her mom and stuff. But
yeah. I mean, I
that's a
knew some
wild
of that
ride.
stuff, but I didn't know all of it. That's she had a pretty disturbing life.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because you're kind of a product of your upbringing, right?
Well, yeah, that's 100%. Like there was like nothing she could do about some of that. Like some of it's unavoidable at that point. Like you are. She's a statistic. She's not an exception.
This is a great example. She got dealt a royal flush when she is playing blackjack, kind of thing. She has a great hand, but isn't playing the right game.
Good metaphor.
Good metaphor, huh? Thank you, everybody. Catch us next time. And our sponsor is water. No,
and
but
rehab.
And watery rehab. Excuse me.
Very good. Be good. I don't think... Yeah. Okay. Mine's kind of on a totally different plane. But
that's good. Let's keep it.
It's
different.
kind of a bit more on the, not really dark side, but it's not like so Liza Minnelli.
Right.
Though she also had darkness in her story.
I know what you're saying, though. There's a difference between Liza Minnelli and voodoo and the murder of James Bulger.
Right. It's about death.
Okay.
Not really death. Okay. It's called...
Just get into it.
It's called... I'm getting into it. The City of the Silent.
The City of the Silent.
Or sometimes referred to as the City of the Souls.
Sounds like a Final Fantasy game. Or like a World of Warcraft or Diablo expansion pack.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 43, The City of the Silent.
Yeah.
How many Final Fantasy games are there? Like 16?
14 now? 15? I don't know. Tell us. Please leave a comment in one of our many social medias.
So San Francisco. That's it. You're done. No more plugs.
Come on. No plugs, huh?
San Francisco has gone through an enormous growth in these last years, as you know.
Yeah.
And with
tech jobs.
Right. Well, I'm talking like in the last 100 years.
Okay.
With enormous growth comes a lot of population, and with a lot of population comes...
Apes.
Nope.
That's what Planet of the Apes was, right? It was in San Francisco?
Yeah.
You were telling me the story about Planet of the Apes?
And here's the script to Planet of the Apes.
This is the best podcast ever. Seriously, though, we need to watch those movies again, too.
Justin loves Planet of the Apes. And with a lot of population comes death.
Yes.
So, where do the dead go in San Francisco?
Right.
To, of course, the San Francisco Cemetery, right? Well, that does not exist.
Guess you probably can't bury them there, right?
At least doesn't exist as an option to anyone who's died in the last 120 years. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you why.
I thought you would get there. No, you're just going to leave it there. Not that.
And that's the end of this episode. In 1900, a ship brought rats infected with the bubonic plague to initiate this, started the San Francisco plague of 1900 to 1904, which is kind of a big plague.
And I'm pretty sure the plague started because of, I think it was a famine. I forget the reason why it had started, why there were so many rats.
Well, yeah, didn't they say that the rats started the plague, but isn't that like a wives' tale?
No, it did, but something caused the start of the rats. The rats were a huge population boom for a very specific reason.
Probably because there was no, I don't know.
I forget what it was. I'll look into it and let you know. Let you all know.
All right. Well,
catch us next time.
Stop it. This was the first plague epidemic in the U.S.
Right.
At that time.
We need a good plague.
Easy there, Dwight. So a lot of people thought that corpses were contributing to the transmission of the plague. And they also think that what's going to happen, was also motivated by the opportunity of profitable land speculation. They basically moved all the bodies out of the city, and they banned all burials within the city.
It's actually a very smart choice.
So let me tell you a little bit about the plague in San Francisco. So it's centered in San Francisco's Chinatown, and it was the first plague in the U.S. Its existence was denied for 2 years by the governor of California at that time. He was like, nope, it's fine. No, we're very clean here. We don't have the plague.
Yeah.
We for sure don't have it.
No plague here, everybody.
Yeah, because he didn't want to get quarantined.
Oh.
To prevent
Was he gay?
Was he married to Liza Minnelli? It's 50-50 chance.
What about the rats? Were the rats gay?
I don't know. Yes. Aren't all rats gay?
Comment down below if you're a gay rat.
We need to start an out of context Twitter. Aren't all rats gay? After the famous 1906 San Francisco earthquake, which maybe you've heard of, a lot of it was destroyed. San Francisco, a lot of it was destroyed by fire, including almost all of the Chinatown district where the plague was. And they started reconstructing it in 1907. And then there was another outbreak of the plague at that time, but it was not in Chinatown, so they didn't really know how the second one happened. There was just a carrier that I guess never got,
Well, yeah, the rats are still there.
Yeah.
hard to get rid of rats.
Yeah, so they spent $2 million in 1907. That's a lot of money to kill as many rats as possible in San Francisco. Wow. $2 million in 1907. That's got to be like tens of millions now.
Oh, for sure. Did you know that the province of Alberta is rat-free?
Neat.
Interesting, yeah. Just a little addition here to our rat conversation.
Another interesting fact about this is that in 1908, all the people that were infected were Caucasian. All
whiteys. Mm-hmm. But I thought you said Chinatown was the problem.
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't Chinese people that were living there. Or maybe this was the second plague.
Oh,
Sorry.
Right.
The second plague wasn't in Chinatown.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they also identified the ground squirrel as being a carrier.
No, of course.
A vector of the disease, if you will.
Vector.
A vector.
Curse you, tiny toilet!
So, and because of this plague and because of like political reasons, cemeteries started to be moved to the undeveloped area just south of the city. A 15-block section of Chinatown was quarantined while people kind of like argued over what to do.
Mm-hmm. About the plague.
Yeah, they just like blocked them off and they started moving cemeteries. But the problem of existing cemeteries and the shortage of land in the city like was still a problem,
right?
Even though they got rid of the plague. So all remaining cemeteries in the city were evicted to the town of Colma, California.
Colma?
Colma, C-O-L-M-A. Colma, California. However, I'll give you a little bit of history that I got out of the town of Colma website.
Yeah.
I actually went to their website. Wikipedia didn't have this information.
You were like their one visitor to their website. Oh, somebody's looking at us.
Oh, no, there's for sure people that visit this website because it's like, well, we'll get there. So some events that led up to the 1924 incorporation of the town of Colma. So it wasn't exactly a town. The cemeteries were there, but it became a town.
Because of the cemeteries.
Yeah. And actually, like, before this was a town, like 75 years before this, during the gold rush, there was hundreds of thousands of people that came to San Francisco who also brought disease, leading to a high death rate in San Francisco at that time. Everybody was sick back then.
Still now. I'm pretty sure San Francisco's like that now, too.
Well.
Isn't everybody sick all the time?
I don't know. I have no idea. Are they?
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Just making an assumption.
Passing it around. I don't do that.
Just starting rumors.
Hey, don't tell the teacher. I don't make stuff up ever. Like facts and stuff that I tell you that I'm pulling out of the vault or something. I never make those up.
That was just amusing.
Yeah. I apologize. I feel bad.
So because of all these old gold rushers that all died in San Francisco back in the day, they had to make a shit ton of cemeteries in San Francisco. Right. There was 26 cemeteries that had been established in San Francisco, and they were almost all filled by the end of the 1880s.
Wow.
Like, they had no room for these bodies.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of dead people.
Yes. People kept dying because everybody was sick.
People died.
Well,
Imagine
also that. In the late 1880s, cemetery owners started looking for new property to bury their dead because they didn't have any room, right? Mm-hmm. So the southern end of what is now Colma was chosen because of transportation. There was easy access by horse and carriage.
Where is this in relation to...
I will show you a map.
Okay.
So maybe we'll also post this on Twitter. It's just south of San Francisco.
So how many did you say opened up? 20 cemeteries?
26.
There are currently 20 cemeteries in Winnipeg.
Look at that. If you want to relate this to a small town Winnipeg of small city.
750,000 people or whatever it is.
800,000.
That has 20,000.
Yeah.
Not 20,000 cemeteries, just 20.
20,000 cemeteries.
That's a lot of dead folk.
Well, that's like this. So they basically chose this spot in Colma because it was easy access to the road by horse and carriage. Okay? And then this kind of progressed to become streetcars. Streetcars ran from there to there, and then trains. Mm-hmm. And they would all go along the side of the cemeteries, and they would all stop at each of the cemeteries. That's what the train did back in the day. Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
The train there ended up becoming what is now... I have this somewhere in here. I don't know where it went. now the BART line that carries living residents to in the peninsula.
The what now? The peninsula?
To other cities.
Okay.
That was just a confusing sentence the way it was written. So it's now the BART.
Yes.
So on June 3rd, 1887, the Roman Catholics established Holy Cross, the first cemetery in Colma. And then following that, we got this incident with, the plague and all this stuff. And there's all these San Francisco cemeteries are not going well. There was 4 major cemeteries, and they were a total mess by the late 1800s. They were untended and scavenged, so people would just hang out in the cemeteries and just vandalize. And the land was just too valuable for the dead people because of how quickly they were growing.
Right.
So they kicked out the dead.
That's so weird.
Yes.
What a weird thought.
So at this time, more than 150,000 bodies were moved from San Francisco to Colma, where farmland was turned to graveyards. Ooh.
150,000 bodies, eh?
Yes. But just wait. Graves and markers of the deceased whose families paid to have them moved, they paid $10, and they would be replanted.
That would be a good chunk of change.
Yeah, in that time. And that's to move the headstones, right? Too.
Right.
So
it's not their fault that they have to move.
I know. So basically they were sent eviction notices. You have to move your family member. If you don't pay for it, then they're going to go without a gravestone. Right. And you'll never be able to find that body again.
Right.
So
there's no way that they put them on the right spots. No way.
For sure. And there was a bunch of mass graves there because many people's relatives couldn't pay. Right. So there's a bunch of mass graves.
That'll be weird to find 4,000 years in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, exactly.
If people weren't around or we were something totally different and they were doing an archaeology dig.
Yeah, at these mass graves, one of them has 39,000 people buried there. Another mass grave has 35,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yes. So they moved 150,000 bodies, but that doesn't mean that's how many people buried there now. Right. And we'll get there. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this filmmaker did a documentary on Colma and talked about the San Francisco graveyards before they moved to Colma and how bad they were. Right. Hobos would crack open the crypts and they would live in there.
Ew.
Yeah. And
go home, dude.
I know.
Well, I guess they're hobos. They don't have a home.
And this is a quote. Everyone's mother told them to avoid wandering into a makeshift den of rapists, pedophiles, and ghouls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spoopy. That's so weird. Why would you go to sleep in a crypt? Just sleep outside.
They have nowhere else to sleep.
San Francisco can't get that cold. Why are you sleeping in a crypt with a bunch of dead people? That's how you get cursed.
Maybe they wanted to be cursed. Maybe they already were cursed.
That's why they were sleeping. Ooh. The entire city of San Francisco. The plague.
So any unclaimed gravestones and stuff were used for public works projects like seawalls and breakwaters.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
That's so weird.
I know.
I guess you can't return it to the people that bought it.
Yeah. Well, I guess use it, right? Yeah. Reuse, recycle.
Wow.
So nowadays, looking at kind of the statistics of Colma, it's a pretty regular town. There's
still lots of dead people.
Yeah, lots of dead people.
Do they do is it a touristy place?
Yes, so kind of. So it's known as the City of this Island or City of Souls. It's the smallest city in its county with over 1,500 residents and 1.5 million bodies are buried there.
Ooh, that's a lot of folks.
I know. It's and there's also one pet cemetery.
Only one.
Yeah.
Wow. How many pets are there?
I don't know.
They didn't say.
I don't have that statistic. They estimate that approximately 75 bodies go there per day.
Well, but people die every day, right? If you can't, San Francisco's a big city. If you can't bury anybody there.
Yeah, and this is where people go. There's no place to put them in these huge metropolises. Metropolises.
Metropolodes.
Metropolodes. No, I got metropolodes.
Octopodes.
So in some of the graves, there's some very famous people. Well, kind of famous people. There's tycoons and archbishops, architects, activists, artists.
I guess anybody big. Everybody that died in San Francisco's there.
Alcatraz inmates, city socialites. Phineas Gage is built there.
Who's
you know
that?
Who that is?
No.
He once was cutting a railroad bed in 1848, and somehow he survived when explosive powder detonated and a 43-inch iron was sent through his cheek, brain, and skull.
Wow.
But he survived. He was the guy with like the hole in his head.
Oh, poor
basically.
guy.
Yeah, but he's buried there.
Interesting, yeah. No, I don't know who that rando is.
No.
Interesting. I will forget his name.
Joe
now.
DiMaggio
Yeah.
is buried there. Levi Strauss. Wyatt Earp.
Cowboys in their jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of, like I said, everybody that would have died in San Francisco has to be there. Or I guess if you're cremated, somebody might have you in their house or something. But.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like one time that they moved bodies. They like consistently kept moving bodies.
Well, it would take a long time,
right?
Yeah.
So near the back of the cemetery, there's a small pink gravestone that is kind of commemorative for the San Francisco mayor who was assassinated along with Harvey Milk.
Oh.
So that mayor is built there.
The mayor is built there.
He's buried there.
He's just a giant stone golem.
They built his tomb there.
Is it in the shape of him?
It's pink.
He's just a giant golem man. Giant pink golem.
I don't know. From the time that Colma was incorporated, they've never had more living residents than dead ones. Never.
Well, that would be impossible.
Yeah. However, not all of the bodies were moved from San Francisco. In the summer of 1993, when they were doing renovation on the California Palace of the Legion of Honor, about 300 corpses from the gold rush were found, like in the dirt there. Yeah. And they were unearthed while they were doing these renovations. It's now like a library. And experts estimate that there's probably another like 11,000 bodies under there.
Well, yeah, because I guess they wouldn't, in way back when in the gold rush, there may have been mass graves too, right?
Well, yeah. Like, they think that there's probably thousands more still under there, under the museum.
Stuff like that, not like that, but weird stuff kind of happens like that in Winnipeg too, like because of the Red River that goes through our city. It's a very old river and the banks are really crumbling, so there's a lot of cemeteries that are alongside the river. And a few years ago, in Elmwood Cemetery, there was actually caskets that ended up on the riverbank and in the river.
Jeez, that's freaky.
Yeah, it was a really scary thing. There was like caskets floating in the water.
Ooh.
So they had to take out a bunch and move them away, kind of thing.
So with Colma having so many dead people and being kind of such a spoopy town, there's actually not that many reports of like hauntings or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like I looked them up because I was curious.
Wow. Who would have thought?
There was an image of the Virgin Mary that appeared in 1997 in the sap on a pine tree, though.
Oh, wow. Spooky sap.
Hundreds of people visited that tree.
Wow.
Yeah. Sappy Virgin Mary.
Can't make that one up.
So Colma is considered quite neat and tidy town. It's got 3 neighborhoods and 17 manicured, sprawling cemeteries.
Wow.
And they know, like, Colma kind of, like, they have a little bit of a tourist industry because of that.
Yeah, they know what they're known for.
Their slogan is, or their motto is, "It's great to be alive in Colma."
That is a primo slogan.
I know, it's great. You can get a little shirt that says it on there with a bunch of headstones.
Winnipeg, heart of the continent.
Yeah, it's great to be alive in Colma.
Good job, Colma. That's a fantastic tagline.
I know, it's good. They have a total area of 1.9 square miles, and the town's 17 cemeteries comprise 73% of that area.
It's a lot of green space.
Yeah.
So I guess there's probably quite a few people that work for the cemeteries, I would think.
Yeah. We have time for a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
They're No one knows exactly what happens in Colma's 17 cemeteries. Wow, that's like a tongue twister. 17 cemeteries, 17 cemeteries.
Thanks, you got there. It didn't seem too hard. Your brain isn't too soft.
You try.
Oh, I can't do it.
Okay, well
I can't speak regular words.
Then get out of here.
What are words?
Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. Ow now, brown cow. No one knows for sure what happens in Colma's 17 cemeteries after the sun goes down. But there's no fences around any of these cemeteries, so they have police and security guards.
Why
would
would you
monitor?
Yeah, I get. Well,
it's a huge area, right?
Yeah, but I guess like stupid kids and stuff, and
yeah, well,
I don't know, witches.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that there's a guy, a police sergeant, that's been working there for a long time, and he's discovered people dancing on graves or yelling at gravestones in an attempt to revive people. He's found like remains of seances, candles circling graves, and pieces of a chicken strewn about one time. Right. In 1997, they discovered the half-clothed body of Inga Makarov, a 24-year-old prostitute from Russia, who was dumped at one of the cemeteries.
Wow.
She'd been beaten to death, and her killer was never found.
Oh yeah, if it's just a dumping site, that's pretty...
Yeah.
Wow.
A convicted murderer who was already serving time in New Orleans.
Back to Nolans.
Yeah. He confessed to killing a woman in Colma in the late 1980s, saying he had wrapped her body in a rug and hidden her in the woods. And sure enough, when they went to go look for her, she was there by the Cypress golf course.
Wow.
So yeah.
So who knows really how many people are there, actually?
Well, 1.5 million is including like the mass graves and stuff.
But they don't know 100% how many people were there.
I mean, I think they had some record keeping when they moved them whenever they moved them in 1914.
Yeah, so they would just say Joe Smith goes in mass grave 2B.
Yeah, maybe.
Joe Swanson goes in 2B.
1.5 million is a lot.
Yeah, you wouldn't keep records of that back then, I wouldn't think.
Well, they moved 150,000.
And all because of the plague. That wasn't even the issue.
It was part of it. There's a picture of one of the cemeteries.
Oh,
it's just
wow,
lines.
This is gorgeous.
And
we'll put this on Twitter, too.
Lines and lines of headstones.
Like, we've got some big cemeteries here. But this is huge.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cemeteries and mausoleums and everything, right?
Yeah, it's just all walks of life.
Tell you, when I look at these crypts, it doesn't make me want to sleep in there.
Okay. And I'll show you a map of, like, so this is, like, you can't even see the name Colma.
Oh, yeah. So we're looking at, like, a Google map of Colma, and you can't even see Colma because there's so many cemetery little icons that come up.
Yeah, you can't see the name of the city because it's covered by little...
Oh, it's not even far. Like, no, it's right there.
It's like 10 minutes from San Francisco. It's pretty close.
Just outside of Daly City. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, just by South San Francisco. I thought it was, like, further than that. But it's hard to tell. Where we live, we don't have, like, metropolis areas like this.
Yeah, we live in the farmland.
We live in the boons, so...
In the farmland, yeah.
Yeah, we live in the middle of nowhere. But even, say, in the city, in Winnipeg, it's nothing like that. It's not sprawling.
No, it's just, like, goes on forever and ever.
Yeah.
So if you want to go, someplace spoopy, visit the... City of the Silent. It's great to be alive in Colma.
That's I think the best city slogan I've ever heard.
It's great. Yeah, did you like that one?
I did.
I really wanted to do a town history, and I looked up like towns with interesting histories.
Yeah.
Because I really had wanted to do like a town that had interesting things happen.
Weird things that happened in specific towns, kind of thing.
Yes. Because there's like lots of different little weird things.
Right. I don't know why people bury their dead still. It seems like such an old idea. Like, I know, especially when you take religion into it, a lot of religions require you to be buried rather than cremated.
So that's probably why. But, like, think about people like your mom who wants to be buried, but that's because she wants a place for people to visit.
That's
like,
true.
That I understand.
Yeah, but
people have their reasons, right?
You can have that when you're cremated as well, right?
Yeah.
You can be put somewhere or turned into a tree.
That's what I want. I want to be made into a tree.
You can make me into a table.
I'm not going to make you into a table.
You can. There's places that'll take your ashes and compress them into a diamond.
Ew.
Yeah, real weird, eh?
Honey, can you set the Justin?
Yeah, that's so weird.
Ooh.
No thanks. Please, when I die, please don't wear me around your... Ooh, don't wear me around your neck, but make me into 2 giant, like, gangster studded earrings. Make me into those, please.
I'll make you into a pimp cup.
Yeah, put me on a pimp chalice,
And it'll
please.
say gangster.
Here
On the
lies
outside.
Justin.
Here
Forever
lies
gangster.
Gangster.
Perfect. All right, well,
You
I
can
had a
make
good
me
time.
into like a surfboard
Surfboard.
because you'll never use it.
That's true. We'll just keep you on the mantle. Does
We're
it weird
literally
you?
the farthest away that we could ever be from the ocean.
Center of the continent, I know.
In Canada's heart
Yeah.
beats.
Yeah, oh man, we live in a weird place. Too hot. But I had a really good time. I really like both those subjects.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't sure about the topic that I picked. I was like, I had to expand on it a little bit to make it a full half hour.
Mhm.
But like, I think that some of the, like that topic is interesting enough in itself.
Oh,
right?
for sure, 100%. And
Hope
that,
so.
yeah, and we're still feeling things out, and so we don't know which ones people are gonna like and which ones.
You guys liked the last one.
That's what it seems like. A lot of people seem to be listening to it, so we gotta kind of give the people what they want.
The people's microphone.
Not this microphone with a sock on it.
Yeah, I think this is the last
I feel sad. We're
in
gonna have to-
memoriam.
in memoriam of Michael, the microphone.
Oh, creative.
That could have gone many different, better
Wow.
ways. How about Michelle?
Boo.
Michelle. But I think it is the last time that we're gonna use sock mic, and maybe we can actually use it now as a camera.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll set it up sometime in the next.
We're not going to
few
use that
videotapes.
as a camera. What?
It's HD.
Yeah, but it's a piece of shit. We can use my
Don't
phone.
talk shit about Michael, okay?
Oh my god.
I feel bad. We're gonna have to give him a burial.
Yeah,
Or
I said
not in
in
town.
memoriam.
Yeah, not in town, somewhere else.
Where?
In a different town.
In Colma.
In Colma, yeah.
It's great to be alive in Colma. Not you, Mike.
Not you, Mike. You're already dead. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Hope your brain is a little bit softer.
Or-
Ours definitely is.
A little bit firmer.
A little bit firmer, yeah.
No,
Those,
I think we're definitely softer
we
today.
we definitely dumbed it down.
Last time we might have been a little firm. This time we're very soft.
Yeah, soft boiled. Well, thanks for having me, Clarke.
Wow,
Always
thanks,
a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you. Nice to put a face
Do you come
to
here
the
often?
name. Yeah, I live here.
Oh, I live here too. I've never seen you here before.
Wow, how did this happen?
All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and let us know if there's anything specific we should talk about, and follow us on those social medias.
At the Softbrains on Instagram and Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you, Clarke. Bye.
Bye.